best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we've got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
Hello and welcome to Frontier Motors. This is Ivan Struckel, and we are going to be talking cars for the next half hour. We've been doing this show going on 23 years. So welcome to the show, and a little bit what we talk about is what's going on in the car industry, a little bit about Pensacola industry, car industry, and also what's going on at Frontier Motors. Not that you really care, but we want you to know that when you're in the market for a car, there is a dealer here that's not just there to get in your back pocket and grab your money. It's there to give you free advice no matter where you buy a car. So if you find that you're going to go to a brand new car dealership, maybe a used car dealer, or maybe from an independent person, or maybe out of state somewhere that you found a car that you like, Frontier Motors will give you the free advice as far as doing a free Carfax report for you on that car. Carfax reports, by the way, most people know what Carfax is, the largest provider of history reports in the nation. We will run a Carfax at no charge for you. The other thing we can do also is tell you what that car should sell for in our area. So even if you're finding it out of state, I've had people say, well, I can buy a truck in Texas cheaper than in Florida. And I said, baloney, you can't. They don't talk to maybe $200. It takes $200 to ship a vehicle one way if we buy at the auction. So there are really no differences in deals, but we will do the shopping for you to tell you what a deal is, what's not. Free advice is one of the things that we've been doing for going on 23 years at Frontier Motors. It sets us apart a little bit from the competition, that we are here to help people. And we know that if we help you get a deal somewhere, whether it be from a neighbor, friend, or relative, or perhaps maybe another car dealership, if we help you get a deal and tell you, yeah, that's a good price, go ahead and buy it. It's got a clean history report. It's a fair price. If you like the people you're buying from, go ahead and buy it. By doing that, a lot of times we'll get residual feedback from that customer by them sending us their friends, relatives, neighbors when they say, where should I go and buy a car? Go to Frontier Motors. Those guys are pretty cool over there. They gave me free advice and I didn't even buy anything from them. And consequently, they come back the next time, because we do have a huge inventory. We give very fair prices. And sometimes we might not have exactly what you're looking for. Most people will give us some time to find what they're looking for, but I also understand there are people that are very sporadic, and they want a car, they want it now, and they find what they want. It's not our job to talk you out of it. It's our job to make sure you get a good deal. Obviously, the better deal you get on the car, the better position you're going to be able to be in a couple years when you trade the car in, because everybody knows car depreciates on a consistent basis. And if you get a good deal, you're not going to be caught in an upside down situation, which you normally are when you buy brand new. Because you buy a brand new car in the first year off the lot, Consumer Reports in April's edition said the first year depreciation as an average of 27%. And the average selling price of a new car was about $36,000 last year, which means the first year alone, you lose how much? Well, let me have my buddy Dave Ramsey tell you how much you lose.
Hey, Dave Ramsey here. For almost a decade, I've been telling you about my friends at Frontier Motors in Pensacola. The biggest reason is they help my listeners save thousands of dollars when purchasing a slightly used car over a brand new one. Consumer Reports says the average new car depreciates a whopping $9,200 in the first year alone. That's crazy. So if you're thinking new, don't. Go see Frontier Motors and see how much they can save you on a current year car with very low miles. And if your goal is to get out of debt, bring Frontier Motors your car and they can write you a check on the spot. Frontier Motors can also do consignments, and they don't charge a fee or a commission. Frontier Motors have been helping the people in the Pensacola area for 21 years. They are the go-to dealer for free advice when it comes to buying or selling a car. Please go see my friends at Frontier Motors. And don't forget to tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
Dave does a really good job talking about in 60 seconds what takes me half an hour to say, as far as some of the things that we offer people, and the things that if anybody would ask me what do we specialize in, because we don't specialize in trucks or sports cars. But if anybody was to push me as far as what do we specialize in, is the alternative to new. And most of our inventory, we normally stock 400 cars. I do have to admit we're down a little bit. The last count, we were at about 300 cars in inventory, and that gets me into a whole different subject about buying your car from private individuals like yourself, which is a whole different subject. But talking about the specialization is cars that are 6 months old to a year and a half old that somebody else has taken the big loss on, not you. Somebody else bought that car for whatever reason, they got rid of it. And people always ask me, well, it must have been a bad car if they got rid of it. And I had this happen, especially from I don't want to be I don't want to say a certain group of people that come in that talk like this, but it's normally the older women that are very skeptical of, number one, used car dealerships. Number two, why would somebody get rid of a car with 2,000 miles on it? Must have been a lemon. Well, we'll guarantee that it's not a lemon. We'll guarantee that it's not a salvage title. We'll guarantee it's not an odometer discrepancy problem or a used car buyback. So we do a lot of due diligence when we purchase a vehicle, and a lot of times I'll buy a car that's brand new with 10 miles, 15 miles on it. I'm able to get that at the auction where there's a dealer selling their cars to independent dealers like Frontier Motors. We don't have franchises. I bought some brand new Ridgelines and Honda Odysseys last week with no miles on them. Well, when I say no miles, it's exaggeration. 5 miles or 10 miles on them. I have to sell them as used cars because I'm not a dealer. I'd get sued by the local Honda dealership if I told people I was selling brand new Hondas. They're not. They are used cars. They are titled. The warranty clock is ticking, but I'm buying them at used car values to be able to save you money. Now, you might not save as much money as Dave Ramsey says on the average first car is saving, $10,000, $9,000, but you're still going to save thousands of dollars on a car that is relatively new. But that's what we specialize in. Now, because we sell so many cars that are like new, we also take a lot of trade-ins. And that's where it comes in that don't think we don't have $5,000, $7,000, or $10,000 cars, because we do have those cars. We don't buy those cars at auction, but we do buy them from private individuals, and we do take them in trade because that way you have the ability to do a better test drive on a car. Most people don't know that you don't test drive cars at auction. So the only ones the auction guarantees are the ones that are like new. The ones that are what they call green light, which means that they're still under warranty. They don't have any issues. And the auction actually guarantees those cars to me, which means that I can guarantee those cars to you. But the older cars that you buy at auction, you buy as is. So if the transmission slips, if the air conditioning is not working, if the timing belt is bad, timing chain is bad, guess what? I'm stuck with it. So those cars are bought from private individuals. And that is one of the words that I get out on this show, is that we want to advertise that we buy cars. I can give you a buy bid on your car, not just a value, which I can do over the phone, but a buy bid within 15 minutes. So you come in, we scan the ID number. All these phones have apps nowadays. So we scan the ID number. It immediately puts it in our system, which, I just type the miles in, take some pictures of the car, drive it around the block, and within 15 minutes, I can have a letter in writing giving you a buy bid, which, by the way, is good for 7 days. And the only reason it might not be good for that long is if all of a sudden we get 15 of those cars in trade at once. But almost all the time, we will buy that car right off the bat. And if you live within the Pensacola area, we can even give you a ride home or just have someone pick you up. That's how fast it is. With electronic titles these days, it makes it easier because we can actually apply for the title. So if you have a loan on a car, years ago, you would have to wait to get money from us because we would pay your car off, and the balance due to you would come when we get the title. Because sometimes it takes 2 or 3 weeks to get a title. Electronic titles, which means that as soon as I pay that car off and I have proof that it's paid off, I can apply for that title and give you your money right off the bat, which makes it really easy for you if you're buying another car or if you want to take the money and pay off some other, like Dave Ramsey says, get out of debt. So if you have a car that's paid for, you might want to sell that car to me, use that cash, and get rid of your credit card debts and whatever else debts that you have. Let's talk about what's going on in the car industry, Consumer Reports. And I talk about this every time I do a show. I talk about safety, safety, safety. And I always sometimes I get a little bit irritated when I have a customer that's sitting in front of us and they're buying a car. And I had this happen on a Nautilus about 2 months ago. A Nautilus, if you don't know, this is a Lincoln. This is one of their fancy cars. And I had what they call a Reserve, and they have what's called a Select. And mine was a Reserve, and the customer said, and mine was more expensive. I believe it was about $2,000 more. And one of the things that you get with the Reserve model is you get all the latest and greatest safety features. So the lady says, well, I don't care about that. And I said, you are kidding me. I said, you don't care about the safety features? And I'm here to tell you that even Consumer Reports is now saying in their August edition of Consumer Reports that if they don't start having certain safety features on the car, they're going to stop recommending that car. And they put pressure on the manufacturers because the manufacturers look forward to the Consumer Reports rankings and ratings. It's a big, big deal because a lot of people put a lot of faith in stock, including myself. I get every edition. I read it cover to cover, not just on cars, but on toasters and fridges and everything else that's out there. I tried, if I'm in the market for something, if I'm in the market for a camera, which I was a couple years ago, I go right to Consumer Reports. If I'm in the market for a brand new TV, I go right to Consumer Reports and find out which one's the latest and greatest because I don't have time to do the research. And here what they're saying is raising the bar on car safety. What's at stake? In recent years, more than 36,000 people have been killed and 2.5 million have been injured and in U.S. car crashes annually. That's annually. 35,000 people, 2.5 million people get hurt every single year on U.S. roads. Recent advances in safety technologies are effective at reducing crash and fatality risks, and automakers have committed to equipping most vehicles with 2 of these features. I noticed that in the last 2 years, especially Toyota, has said they will put forward collision warning and emergency braking in their vehicles and buy standard equipment in 2022. A lot of the vehicles like the Toyota Corolla, which is kind of a lower line car, have the collision avoidance already. Now, they don't make blind spot standard, which is kind of interesting, but the automatic braking system is already standard in those cars. But 2 other proven technologies, which is blind spot and pedestrian detection, have not received the same commitment. Some automakers sell them as a part of an add-on package along with premium stereo systems and sunroofs. Safety shouldn't be treated as a luxury item, Consumer Reports says. And they're saying that more recently, we have spotlighted the issue with the analysis of the 15 top-selling models in the U.S. Among other things, it showed that blind spot warning comes standard on base level trim on just 3 of those 15 models, and that buyers must pay an extra $16,700. That's 60% over the base sticker price for a Chevy Silverado 1500 equipped with pedestrian detection. Now, they're not saying that pedestrian detection costs $16,000, but to get that one feature, you've got to go to the upgraded model, and the upgraded model costs $16,700 more. And I see that with something as simple as a Land Rover Discovery that I was looking at this morning. To get the safety features, it's a $2,700 convenience option. They call it the customer convenience option. $2,700. The base price of a Land Rover Discovery is $53,000, and it does not come with blind spot or collision warning. What's up with that? I can't figure it out. To get that, or to get the automatic braking, to get that, it costs $2,700 more. At least you don't have to go, a lot of times the base model and the most expensive model can be as much as a $30,000 price difference. And the reason they do that is so they have the ability to advertise the car starting from $1995. Well, you get anything with any equipment, it's almost twice as much as that. Also, what's going on in the industry? A couple of tidbits here. Genesis. I've been very excited about Genesis, and I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but Genesis is one of the top rated car out there. Last year, the brand stacked up. Consumer Report comes out with the best brands out there. Well, last year, the second best brand out there was Genesis. The year before was number 1. Last year was number 2. Very excited about their first SUV coming out, which is called a GV80. The G80 is a car, the GV80, so just put a V in there. That's their new SUV. And they have a new G80 coming out, a completely redesigned car. And it was supposed to be here already a couple of months ago. And it said they just announced both vehicles are built in South Korea and were scheduled to go on sale in the U.S. this summer. Well, summer's almost over, but they're being delayed because of the coronavirus pandemic. How does that pandemic affect a car? Does the virus get in the car and they won't sell the car? I'm sure maybe they closed the factory. Too bad. Looking forward to it. Selling Genesis cars like crazy. By the way, if you don't know what a Genesis is, used to be a Hyundai back in 2015. Then they flipped it over to the Highline division of Hyundai. Everybody knows what a Lexus is, but does everybody know that Lexus is Highline's division of a Toyota? And that when you look at Acura, and Acura is the Highline division of Honda. Infiniti is the Highline division of Nissan. So Hyundai got smart and said that we want to split that name up. And they named their new luxury division Genesis, and they changed the vehicles. And they are absolutely, my wife loves the Genesis. She always was a Lexus driver. She likes the Genesis better than Lexus. And I like it better because it's about $10,000 less money. So it's unfortunate they delayed the Genesis and the GV80, which, by the way, looks gorgeous. I've seen pictures of that GV80 SUV. It's worth the wait, folks. Tesla sues Rivian. If you don't know what Rivian is Tesla's competition. It is an electric pickup truck. It's going to be built in Indiana. They're just about ready to get that production line going. Very cool looking truck. Reminds me a little bit of a cross between the Honda Ridgeline and perhaps the new Bronco coming out, or maybe the Gladiator. Very cool looking vehicle. And Tesla is suing them, accusing the electric vehicle startup of poaching employees and stealing trade secrets. Well, how about that? How do you prove that? That's kind of interesting. And Dodge and Porsche have Dodge is the first domestic brand to take first place honors in J.D. Power's appeal and initial quality studies. The first time a domestic brand made the top of the appeal list, right along with Porsche. That's a pretty good company they've got. And Dodge has never been known for their quality. Well, guess what? Quality's getting better and better. And for the first time ever this year, the Ram pickup truck outsold the Chevy Silverado. Isn't that interesting? Rams are making a huge comeback. Matter of fact, the nice thing about being an independent dealer at Frontier Motors is that we sell every make and model. So if you come in, I still have this happen where a Chevy customer will come in and say, and I'll say, what about, I don't have, let's say you want a blue one. I don't have a blue Chevy, but I got a blue Ram. I wouldn't have nothing to do with a Ram, which is okay. I sell Chevrolets. Let me get you a blue Chevrolet. Or if you want a Ford, a Ford buyer, it's hard to take a Ford buyer and sell them anything else other than a Ford. And being an independent dealer, I have the ability to at least in a full-size vehicle, show them the Titan, the Nissan product, show them the Tundra, the Toyota, and show them the Silverado, the GMC Sierra, and also show them the F-150 and the Ram. By the way, they don't call them Dodge Rams anymore, just so you know that. It's called a Ram pickup truck. They separated that. And I am driving a Ram pickup truck right now. I took it home last night, and I am pleasantly surprised how quiet and how comfortable it is. One of my favorites. Now, again, we can sell them all, so I don't want to call for favorites. Now, let's talk about luxury cars. We do, by the way, sell lots of luxury cars, but Consumer Reports says that might not always be the best for you. One reason is because people think of luxury with reliability, and that does not always go hand in hand. And I'll give you an example. A long time ago, when we started, I wouldn't buy an Audi, I wouldn't buy a BMW, and I wouldn't buy a Mercedes because they were crappy cars. Not because of the ride and drive. They were excellent driving cars. They were excellent looking cars. They were quiet driving cars, but they were not reliable. And what is the first thing that happens when you buy a used car from someone and something goes wrong? You blame the dealer. So I got blamed a lot of times for selling a bad car because the car they bought happened to be one of those models and they fell apart. I'm talking about a car that might be 3 years old, that might be 4 months out of warranty, that all of a sudden the check engine light comes on. Shouldn't happen. The transmission goes bad. You have oil leaks. You have electrical problems. So now I do have to say, fast forward, those cars are much, much better. I would buy an Audi. I would buy a BMW. I would buy a Mercedes product right now. And not because they have warranty, but because they're building it better. Consumer Reports put a lot of pressure on them by not recommending those 3 models for years and years. And now those vehicles are, again, recommended because they are more reliable. But Consumer Reports says that just because they're luxurious doesn't make them reliable. And it says that CR reveals, Consumers Reports is CR, by the way. If I say CR, that's what I'm referring to. Reveals that luxury isn't always determined by brand name alone. We found serious shortcomings with models from brands that enjoyed long-standing luxury reputations. And conversely, we found lower-priced alternatives that deliver high-end quality worth of bragging rights. And they'll give you an example. The 2020 Mercedes CLA versus a 2020 Mazda 3 Premium. Now, the Mazda 3 Premium comes with all the safety features, comes with leather interior, comes with a phenomenal ride, very luxurious for a Mazda car, listed as the fourth best brand out there, third in reliability, and saves you $15,200 right off the bat. Can you imagine? Now, why would you buy the Mercedes? Stigma? The name? It's not because of reliability. And you're paying $15,000. Now, we sell that Mercedes product, by the way, because people what they want. It's not our job as an independent dealer to talk you in and out of a car. Matter of fact, the nice thing about being an independent dealer is we don't have to sell you a car. You just have to pick one out and we do the paperwork. So we're not selling. If you go to a Mercedes dealer, they sell you on a Mercedes because they're afraid you're going to go to Lexus and Infiniti and Jag and all those other models. So they sell you on the Mercedes. We don't have to sell you. We don't really care what you buy as long as you buy something. So you want a Mazda? We've got it. You want a Mercedes? But what Consumers Reports is saying is if you're going to buy brand new, or used for that matter, check out that Mazda. Very reliable. Another one, I'm going to rattle through these a little bit. Audi A6, $59,000. The alternative in a non-luxury, which I think is luxury, Toyota Avalon Limited. Savings, $15,100. So if you're going to be looking at an A6, look at Toyota. This is what Consumers Reports are saying, is that they're more reliable and $15,000 less. You got an Infiniti Q50. We sold 2 of these last month. Beautiful cars. But you can buy the Subaru Legacy Limited Luxury Edition for $11,000 less. How about a Lexus LS? One of my favorite cars. Consumers Reports, one of the best rated cars of all time. I think last time Consumers Reports did one last year, they had a 94 rating out of 100, unheard of. And but if you buy the Chrysler 300 Limited, which now is reliable, never used to be, you'll save $58,000. Did I read that right? $103,000 Lexus. The loaded Chrysler is expensive at $45,000. A $58,000 savings. Heck, you could buy 2 of them and still get like $10,000 back. His and hers. BMW X1, luxury car, versus the Mazda CX-5, luxury edition. And we're not talking about base model versus loaded. We're talking about same features now, folks. The navigation, the backup camera, the safety features, the electric panoramic roof, all these things on both of these, and you'll save $7,000 on the Mazda. And it has a better reputation as far as lasting longer. Same thing with the Volvo XC90. We sell a lot of Volvo XC90s. One of my favorite cars. The interior in the car is absolutely gorgeous for 2019 and up. And that's a $55,000 car. Buy the Hyundai Palisade. Even brand new. You save almost $8,000. I got some more examples, but I'm not going to bore you to death. All I'm saying is, folks, the nice thing about being an independent dealer, we sell both, and we can show you that luxury XC90, which we have on the lot. I don't currently have a Palisade on the lot, but they are starting to be available, so it will be only a matter of months before I have the Palisade. When they first came out, they were like the Corvette. They were selling for over list price because they were such a great looking vehicle that people were clamoring to get one. And if a dealer only got 15 in stock and they were sold out, they were actually selling them for over list price. That's starting to come down where I'm starting to look at them used, because if I sell one used, I have to save you money. If I can't save you money, I don't buy the car. There's got to be at least thousands of dollars worth of savings. And that's, of course, what we specialize in, is saving you a bunch of money. So we've only got 4 minutes left, folks. So I want to again talk about what we talked about when we started the show, that you might not be in the market for a vehicle now, but when you are in the market, you want to go to a dealer that doesn't give you a hassle. What I mean by that, There's not going to be a bunch of back and forth. There's not going to be a bunch of negotiating going on. We don't sell cars. People buy cars from us. There's a big difference. You pick out the car that you want. You take it for a test drive. You ask the salesman, what's the best you can do? Here's the keys for my trade-in. It is our job to get you an out-the-door figure in writing. And the reason we do that is so if you're not confident it's the best deal, you can go shop. And that way you're comparing apples to apples. A lot of dealers charge different fees. So what do? We include the fees. So now they can't bamboozle you by giving you a balance figure but not including their fees. Because some dealers can charge as much as $2,000 worth of add-on fees after the deal's been done, which is really not fair to you. So we give you that out-the-door price. We highlight it and we say, here, this is what we can do on our model car. And you already know we'll give you a copy of the equipment list. We'll give you a copy of the window sticker if we can get it for you. We'll give you a copy of the ratings of the car. And of course, you've already seen the condition. And folks, the one thing that I always I get a little bit frustrated on when a customer comes in and says, I saw one down the road for $1,000 less. And that's not going to happen if you consider the value of the car. It might be $1,000 less, but it's because it's going to have more miles on it. It's going to have less equipment. But the most important thing that people don't see on pictures on the internet, when they see one somewhere else, customer the other day saw one in Miami, $1,000 less. This is the condition of the car. When we go to the auction, buy the cars, the auctions, when we buy them from auctions, they rate the cars from 0 to 5. If it's not a 4.5 or above, I don't even look at the car. It used to be a 4 and above. It's a 4.5 or above, which means the car that I'm buying used has to be like brand new, has to smell new, has to be a non-smoker, has to have no nicks, no chips, no dings on the car. When you open up the car, you'll think it's a brand new car. That's what I deal in. And if that car happens to cost $1,000 more, almost everyone I talk to, I can convince that it's worth the money, even if it doesn't have more equipment. And the other thing to also consider, folks, is the color of the car. An ugly color will cost less than a good-looking color. And if you can buy a green one for $1,000 less, but you hate green, there might be a reason. Now, don't get me wrong, not all green cars are ugly, but I'm using that as an example. I always use purple as an example. I have customers that like purple. I have customers that like lime green. But I can buy those cars sometimes thousands of dollars less than a car in a good color. Couple of minutes left. This is on Facebook, by the way. So if you go on Facebook, you can leave a comment. We also have this on YouTube. So if you have if you have a friend or relative that's looking in the car market, tell them, hey, look up Frontier Motors on YouTube and then give them some of the features that we have available at Frontier Motors at no charge, some of the advice that we give at no charge. And of course, our website is frontiermotorsinc.com. Just Google Frontier Motors. There's about 5 Frontier Motors in the nation. We're the largest one. So we pop up first. You're going to see between 260 and 400 cars in inventory, depending on what time of month. They come and go all the time, and they'll have prices on. They'll have 31 detailed photographs, if not more. The only ones that won't have prices are the ones I bought today because they go on there immediately, but they might not have pictures and prices on it, but 95% will have prices. And I normally buy between 4 to 6 cars every single day. That leads me to the last 30 seconds saying that if you've got a car you want to sell, within 15 minutes, I will give you a buy bid on that car. We would love to buy cars from private individuals, so bring it in and let me give you a bid and let me give you a check for that particular car. Got to run now. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay. Come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier. We've got the right price. Frontier. We'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors. Low overhead country.